Yes, we're back in a Saab, and it's a 9.3 again. I've done two of those previously, but now it has no roof. It's the 9.3 Convertible, which was sold from 2003 up until 2011. It's one of the all-time great convertible cars, isn't it? When I think of a convertible car, I think a Saab pops into my head. Ever since the 1980s, when Saab introduced the 900 Convertible, they just had a great run with building great convertible cars, and it's a real shame that Saab no longer exist. But today I'm going to tell you all about this car, and hopefully by the end of it you'll know a little bit more, and you might even want one, because I know I do after driving this for all of a few hours. So first of all, this car, it's got all of the great things that I love about the 9.3 Sport Sedan or Saloon, the car with the roof. The very sleek external lines and the supremely comfortable seats and the just brilliant ability to just cruise along at speed. What makes this car special over the cars of like the Audis and the BMWs and Mercedes of the time is the way they designed this interior. It was supposed to be like a jet fighter's cockpit for the road. Jet fighters use green on black text, you know, for their heads-up display and all that, and that's there on this car. Everywhere there's any screen or information, it's green font on black background. And then of course you've got this very dark center console which is angled towards the driver. You feel like you have this cockpit wrapped around you. The instruments are all just like super clear and easy to understand. Hiya, can I have a black Americano, please? Great, thank you. Just had to try the cup holder out. That was the only reason to get the coffee. I can pour it away now. The suspension's interesting on a Saab because it can be quite crashy around town and quite loud. It's not super uncomfortable, it's not super firm, but it can be a little bit noisy and kind of make a bit of a meal of going over some bumps. But once you get up to speed in this car and you're on the motorway, it's just kind of really supremely comfortable and floats along over the undulations and bumps in the surface. So it's kind of like set up for cruising rather than like town driving. So the roof on this car, it's for its day, 2003, it's a really advanced bit of kit. It's a hydraulically and electrically operated triple layer soft top roof, which can be raised or lowered in 20 seconds, and it can also be done at up to 20 miles an hour as well. Because of those three layers, it's really well insulated from both like temperature and noise as well. And then the roof construction itself, it's made of all these exotic materials, like the ribs that make up the actual inner part of the roof are made of magnesium, and then the cover at the back is made from aluminium. The way they designed the actual canvas on the top, they've got this guttering which stops the water from dripping on you when you open the door or open the roof. So they've thought of everything really. With the roof up, because it's quite well insulated, the sound levels are pretty good. It's quite a quiet car to cruise along in. Obviously it's not as quiet as the solid hard top version of this car, but it's really not bad. And then driving along with the roof down, like my hair's blowing around a little bit, but I'm pretty well protected from the elements. So today it's about 21 degrees and it's perfect turtleneck weather if you're just driving around with this roof down. It's a shame because we're coming into winter now and maybe I'm putting this video out at the wrong time, but these cars, they can be used all year round. You know, this one doesn't have heated seats, but if you get one with heated seats, then it's one's just gone past me there. You know, they're great for winter use. The boot is quite big, about the same size as your average hatchback, but of course some of the space is taken up when the roof is stowed away. The flappy bit of carpet protects the roof and shows you where the roof will go down to, and you get a nice warning sticker explaining how best to use the space. That cup holder is perfectly positioned, like it's just there to hand. This is what Saab were really all about when they were designing this cockpit. The Saab information display, which is the thing that sits up above on top of the dashboard, it's almost like a heads-up display. It sits proud of the bottom of the dashboard and it's in your view within the windscreen. You can control it just with this little dial here, and it's just dead easy to just put your hand across and do it. This pre-facelift version, it does have the dashboard which is festooned with buttons everywhere, buttons galore. That was a thing that they later on in its life changed and reduced, and you got a little bit more simplified dashboard. But I really like the button dashboard. It adds to that jet fighter feeling. And then in the cabin you've got a fair few practicalities, like you've got a decent sized glove box, you've got door pockets with a little bit of carpet on the inside lining of it. You've got a couple of little cubby holes. I don't know if you can hear that, but the sound of the indicator, it comes through the speakers and it just sounds really nice. It sounds quality, like a little audio recording of an indicator sound rather than the actual relay switch. So the 9.3 convertible, it was available with all the great turbo engines that were in the standard saloon car as well. Now this car is the 1.8T, which is actually the lowest power turbo petrol car that they did, and it's got about 150 horsepower. It's a nice engine, it's super smooth, it's super quiet, and when you put your foot down, there's not really any turbo lag because the turbo is quite small, it's low pressure. The car just accelerates very smoothly and it's not really fast, but it's got enough performance. You know, I think the 0 to 60 in this car is about 10 seconds and you can hear that turbo flutter when you put your foot down, and it's like, of course, if you wanted more power, you could go for the 2-litre turbo with the big T, the high pressure. If that wasn't enough, there was of course the 2.8-litre turbo V6 petrol engine, which was an absolute beast and a quick car. You then of course had diesels as well. The Mercedes CLK, that wasn't available as a diesel, so if you wanted a frugal and economical engine to match the long distance abilities of this car, then you could get it with a diesel. Really, you want a petrol because with the roof down, you want to be able to hear that noise of the petrol engine, not of a sort of tractory diesel. Now, I find myself pulling into a petrol station. The petrols are reasonably economical, but obviously nothing special. You're probably going to get about 30 miles per gallon out of them, which, you know, is totally fine for an 18-year-old turbo petrol car, isn't it? Now, interestingly, of course, this car it's front-wheel drive, but with the saloon version, you could get it as an all-wheel drive or cross-wheel drive, as Saab called it. But the convertible was only front-wheel drive. So where Saab let themselves down a bit in terms of the quality of these cars was really with the interior quality of the materials that they used, because over time, I mean, this car, again, it's a really nice example with 30,000 miles on it, but some of the paint on these buttons is kind of wearing off and you can see the white plastic underneath the black paint. The very cool key, which obviously you start the car by putting the ignition key in the center console rather than by the steering wheel, it always looks like it's been chewed by a dog. And now, sometimes it has been chewed by a dog, but in the case of this car, the plastic has degraded over time and it looks kind of odd. And it's the same with things like the external badges. With the material that the badges are made of, it seems to flake away, so the Saab logo disappears. The general sort of touch and feel of things in this cabin is not of the super highest quality. Like the door handle, which is the thing that you obviously touch every day, every time you get in this car, it's very plasticky and creaky, and you can actually hear it creaking in your hand when you open and shut the door. They did make up for that in the fact that this car is just super different and interesting and quirky. And anyway, as this is a 4-seat convertible with a decent room in the back, we'd better ask backseat JJ what he thinks of the back. So what do you reckon, mate? I'm enjoying it back here, JJ. The first thing I noticed is when you look forward out of this car, you're kind of in the middle. The seat in front is out to the right, and I can see out the front windscreen without having to like crane my neck round like I do on most cars. That is a nice underrated feature there. These Saab seats are mega comfortable. So in terms of space, legroom, I can fit behind JJ just about, so it's okay to fit 2 6-footers behind each other. Got a few little things like the seat pocket here. I've got some ventilation which I can adjust. Not that I really need ventilation now. Oh, there we are. It just like gave me a little tap on the head. So yeah, I've actually got like loads of headroom. It's really quite impressive how much room there is above my head with this roof up. Comparing it to the CLK that we were in last time, my head was just brushing against the roof there. Even with the roof up, it doesn't feel claustrophobic. As I say, I've got that view out the front. Yeah, cheers mate, thank you. So of course the other thing that Saab really cared about back in the day was safety. Now that was still the case for this convertible car, despite the fact that it has no roof. They strengthened these A-pillars here, which means that the car can, if it would roll over, they just would not deform. It can take like 2 times its own weight or something like that. They've got the pop-up roll hoops at the back that just deploy once the car detects it's rolling over. And then you've got these enormous airbags that come up all the way up the side of the car and they're built into the seat, so no matter where your seat position is, the airbag is perfectly positioned for you. So convertibles of yesteryear, back in the 90s, they were quite floppy affairs, because when you take the roof off of a car, you lose all of that structural strength and rigidity of the car. You know, not dynamically great to drive, but they sorted all that out. By the early 2000s, I mean, Saab, they basically put a whole load of extra stuff in the chassis all around it to make sure that it's as stiff and rigid as possible. And that means that when you are like cornering this car at any speed, if you're chucking it round a roundabout or whatever, it feels solid. It feels like really great. There's no scuttle shake, and the car is actually really enjoyable to drive. Now, it's about 150 kilos heavier than the equivalent Saab sports sedan, but they've got the re-axis passive rear wheel steering, which I've forgotten to mention in the other videos, but all of the 9.3s have it. And when you steer into a corner, the rear wheels will very slightly steer in the opposite direction, and it's supposed to help reduce understeer, which is obviously a common problem in front-wheel drive cars. One thing actually with this car, it does have Pirellis on it, so they are like a pretty decent new Pirelli tyres, and that will make the difference as well. Something Saab were always able to do, and none of the other German manufacturers could manage it, was to create a car that didn't seem ostentatious, didn't seem brash, could be sort of owned by anybody. You know, it's a classless car, and yet it still feels like a luxury product, it still feels like an upmarket car. Back in the day, even when you bought a brand new Saab, nobody was going, oh, look at him in his fancy car. They were just like, oh, nice choice, you know, well done. I've really enjoyed driving this car around today, as hopefully you've been able to tell. It is very much a Saab 9.3, which is a car I'm a big fan of, but with the added bonus of being able to just remove the roof whenever you want and get the glorious and occasional sunshine on you. It's a very competent long-distance Grand Tourer kind of car, yet it still handles quite nicely. It's a pretty reasonable car to run. You know, it's not going to break the bank if you buy a good one, and it's fairly practical because you can fit two people in the back, you can fit stuff in the boot. So yeah, big thank you to Stephen for lending me the car. It's a really fantastic example of a 9.3. Please remember to like the video, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to watch more videos on random cars, and if you want to see videos of the other 9.3s that I've reviewed, then you can click up here. And yeah, just thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.